The Sony FX3 II continues to sit in a very unusual space in the cinema camera world, somewhere between rumor, expectation, and inevitability. It has not been confirmed, it has not been officially announced, and there is still no consistent agreement on its exact direction. Yet despite all of that, it is already one of the most talked about upcoming cameras among filmmakers and industry watchers. That attention is not random. It comes directly from what the original FX3 achieved. The first FX3 quietly established itself as a dependable compact cinema tool that found its way into professional productions, documentary work, indie filmmaking, and even high-end studio environments. It did not rely on flashy innovation. It relied on reliability, usability, and consistent results. That legacy is exactly what fuels the growing curiosity around the Sony FX3 II. The conversation around the Sony FX3 II is built on a mixture of speculation and uncertainty. On one side, there are highly detailed leaks that describe a camera with meaningful improvements across nearly every major area: sensor design, autofocus performance, stabilization, processing power, and video capabilities. On the other side, there is a more cautious viewpoint that treats much of this as unverified information, arguing that the camera industry often amplifies expectations long before official confirmation exists. Between these two perspectives lies the most realistic expectation: incremental but purposeful evolution rather than a complete reinvention. A major focus in all discussions is the sensor strategy. Instead of dramatically increasing resolution, the Sony FX3 II is widely expected to prioritize balance and efficiency. A moderate megapixel count combined with stacked CMOS architecture is frequently mentioned as the most likely direction. This would shift emphasis away from raw resolution and toward performance factors such as readout speed, low light capability, and dynamic range handling. In practical terms, this approach aligns closely with the philosophy that made the original FX3 successful in the first place. A stacked sensor design would also bring important improvements in motion rendering. One of the biggest challenges in digital cinema systems is rolling shutter distortion, which becomes visible during fast movement or rapid camera panning. By increasing sensor readout speed, the FX3 II would significantly reduce these artifacts, allowing footage to maintain more natural geometry even in dynamic shooting conditions. This would be particularly valuable for handheld shooters, documentary filmmakers, and action-focused production environments where controlled movement is not always possible. Processing power is another area expected to evolve. The Sony FX3 II is likely to benefit from a newer generation of imaging pipeline architecture that improves both speed and intelligence. Faster processing does not just improve responsiveness, it also enhances autofocus behavior, real-time tracking, and overall system efficiency. Sony already has one of the strongest autofocus systems in the industry, but the next step is expected to focus on deeper subject understanding rather than simple detection. Instead of just recognizing faces or objects, the system is expected to interpret movement and context more intelligently. This means better prediction of subject direction, more stable tracking in crowded scenes, and improved performance when subjects are partially obscured or moving unpredictably. In real production environments, these improvements reduce the need for constant manual focus correction and allow filmmakers to focus more on framing and storytelling. Audio capabilities are also quietly becoming part of the discussion. While often overlooked compared to image-related features, sound is a critical part of professional filmmaking. Expectations for the Sony FX3 II include improved internal recording flexibility, better dynamic range, and potentially more advanced support for multi-channel audio workflows. For solo operators and small production teams, These improvements can significantly simplify setups and reduce the need for external recording systems. What stands out in most expectations is that the Sony FX3 II does not appear to be moving toward extreme experimentation. Instead, it is being shaped as a refinement-focused tool. This is an important distinction. The goal is not to overwhelm users with new features, but to improve the reliability and efficiency of the features already proven in the FX3. That philosophy is a big reason why the FX line has remained so respected in professional environments. Image quality remains at the center of expectations. A sensor optimized for balanced resolution and improved light sensitivity could deliver noticeable gains in low light performance. This would result in cleaner shadows, better highlight roll-off, and smoother tonal transitions. In real-world filmmaking, especially in uncontrolled lighting environments, these improvements often matter far more than increasing resolution alone. Motion behavior is equally important. Faster sensor readout improves how motion is captured, reducing distortion and making camera movement feel more natural. This directly affects the cinematic quality of footage, particularly in handheld shooting scenarios where movement is constant. When motion is rendered cleanly, the footage feels more stable and professional without additional stabilization work in post-production. High frame rate recording is expected to remain part of the system, although the focus is likely on maintaining quality rather than pushing extreme limits. The goal is usable slow motion with minimal compromise in dynamic range and detail retention, rather than simply higher numbers on a specification sheet. Stabilization improvements are also expected, though likely incremental. Even small enhancements in in-body stabilization can significantly improve handheld usability, especially when combined with optimized lens coordination. This reduces the reliance on external rigs and makes the camera more flexible in fast-moving or unpredictable shooting environments. If the Sony FX3 II becomes reality, its success will likely depend on whether it preserves that identity. Not by trying to dominate every specification category, but by becoming a camera that feels natural in professional workflows. In a world where most modern cinema cameras are already highly capable, the real difference is no longer what they can capture, it is how smoothly they allow creators to capture it.